welcome to your circuit, pulse, and Tabata class. We're going to have a lower body focus today. For equipment, you're going to need a set of heavy weights and a set of medium weights. So I'm going to use a set of 20s for my heavies and a set of 10s for my mediums. You are also going to need something to elevate your foot on. We're going to be doing a Bulgarian split lunge that looks like this, holding the weights. So that could be a couch, a chair, a stool, a bench, a low coffee table, just something, and it's only for that exercise. The structure of this workout is very similar to our circuit and Tabata classes, except we're going to have 2 strength circuits, and then we will finish with a quick Tabata blast. For the circuits, I'm going to give you 5 exercises. You do them for 30 seconds full range, followed immediately by 15 seconds of pulsing in the exercise. You then rest for 15 seconds before moving on to the second exercise. You're going to go through that circuit 3 times total. For the Tabata, I'm going to give you 2 body weight exercises. You're going to alternate between them using an interval structure of 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. There are 8 intervals total, so you'll do each exercise 4 times. In the strength circuits, there is no jumping. They are lower impact. We're really going to focus on challenging ourselves with the weights. For the Tabata, we will add in some jumping. That being said, I will show you modifications that are low impact, or you could opt to just skip the Tabata at the end. As always, we will start class with a guided warm-up focused on mobility and building some warmth in the body, and then we'll finish class with a guided cool down. For that warm-up, you do not need any equipment. Let's get right into it. No equipment needed for your warm-up. We're going to start standing with just a little bit of mobility through the hands because we're going to be gripping those weights for so much of this class. So palms face forward, arms down by your side, and as you inhale, I want you to stretch those fingers as long as you can. Open up as wide as you can through the palms. Hold for a second. And then as you exhale, you can just relax the hands. Inhale, stretch them long. Exhale, release. Twice more. Inhale. Open, 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 open. Exhale, relax. Last time. And relax them. All right, now from here, I want you to take your left arm. We're going to side bend over. On an exhale, you're going to spiral down. As you inhale, you're going to come back into the side bend, and then you're going to bring it back up to the top. Stay on that same side, so right arm can kind of sweep across you. Side bend, rotate, side bend, stand it up. Once more this side. Side bend. Other side, right arm sweeps up and over to the left. Rotate down. Rotate open into your side bend, and then come up twice more. Last time. And then we're going to come into a little hip hinge squat combo, kind of shifting the focus into our hip joint. I'm going to turn to face the side. So from here, we're going to start with a hinge. Torso stays long and neutral. At the bottom of this hinge, you're going to bend the knees, dropping down into your squat. You're going to press your feet into the mat, come to stand. So you hinge, you squat, stand it up. Keep that going. So the hinge is initiated by those hips sliding back. Deeper bend to the knees to drop to the squat and stand. But throughout all of this, you're keeping basically the same shape in your spine, okay? So from tailbone to head stays nice and long. And now next time you're in your hinge, I want you to just hold in that hinge kind of deadlift position. And from here, it's just a little bend and press through those knees. Really spread out through your toes so that the whole foot is pressing into the mat. Bend and press. Don't make the press too aggressive. We're not coming all the way to locked knees. Get ready to forward fold in 3, in 2, press. Last time, and forward fold, hands straight down towards the mat. Now in this forward fold position, I want you to go back into the bend and press, but it's a lot looser. So you're kind of melting down, pressing up. We're going to come into a split lunge position up next. First, we're just going to roll up to stand in 3. Let it go. 2. Last time. Now, vertebrae by vertebrae, stack your spine up tall. From here, I want you to take your right leg, step it forward, and we're going to come into a split lunge position, square off through those hips. Now from here, I want you to bend the elbows into kind of a goal post position. As we straighten the legs, arms are going to reach up overhead. And then it's going to be a deep bend of both knees as you draw those elbows down. You'll feel an opening through the hip flexor. Maybe that knee taps the mat. Maybe it doesn't. Down and up. 2 more. And then this time down, that left knee comes all the way to the mat, hands down to the mat, and you're going to swing that right leg back into a tabletop position, and you're just going to start tracing hip circles with that right knee. Doesn't matter the direction because we will switch coming up. Take those same circles, other direction, still on the right side. Make sure you're not locked out through the elbows, so we're actively pressing the mat away. Last time. Both knees down, tuck your toes under. I want you to lift your hips up into a downward facing dog, and then just bend the knees, come into a hover, into a bear plank position. So opening up through the backs of those legs a little more. Up to down dog, press the heels to the mat. Tabletop hover. 2 more. This time, hold the down dog, hands walk in towards the feet, and you're going to roll up to stand vertebrae by vertebrae. And let's do the same thing on the other side. So this time, your left foot steps forward, right foot steps back into the lunge position. Both knees are bent. Square your hips, pelvis is pretty neutral, so there's gentle engagement through the glutes, and you make a 90-degree angle with those elbows like a goalpost. As you straighten through the legs, your arms reach up. As you bend deeply into the knees, you draw those elbows down. Maybe your back knee taps the mat, and maybe it doesn't. That is A-okay too. Two more. And your next time down, knee lands all the way on the mat, hands to the floor, left leg comes back at a hover, and let's go into those hip circles in our tabletop position. So after these hip circles, we're going to come into a little bit of dynamic movement and some light cardio just to continue building warmth in the body. Switch direction of your circles. Two more. Both knees down, tuck your toes under, hips shoot up, walk your hands in towards your feet. We're going to roll up to stand, and we're going to find a sumo squat position. So toes and knees angle out. From here, you're going to take your left arm and we're going to punch it across towards the right as you pivot off of this left leg. Right leg is going to stay planted. So you twist and punch, pull it back to center. Stay on the same side, mirroring me. So adding a little bit of speed to that hip rotation that we were just doing earlier, building a little heat through the body. Our cardio won't come till we get to the Tabata, but that is not to say you will not get out of breath using those heavy weights. You will. Switch to the other side. Same movement. So now we're pivoting off that right foot, left foot stays planted. We're going to come into jumping jacks up next. If you don't want to jump, you can step instead. Last 3, twist for 2, and 1. Let's take it to jumping jacks. Out and in. Again, your modification, step one side and then the next. We're just going to go through those moves one final time, and then it's on to our first circuit. You're in a sumo squat position. In 3, in 2, and 1. Wide legs, low sumo squat. Punch and twist to the right. Right foot stays planted, pivoting off the left. Give me 3 more. 2, 1, other side. You're stabilizing through that left knee, that left leg, pivoting off the right. 3 more jumping jacks, 2 and 1. Last round of jumping jacks to finish. Again, you can alternate stepping side to side if you'd like. Your warm-up is done in 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm going to show you a preview of our first circuit. We're going to use our 2 heavy weights for this first circuit. At any point, if using both heavies is too much, drop down to just 1 and hold it at your chest. We are also going to use our elevated surface for that split lunge. So I'm just going to be putting my foot on my couch. Ideal height is a little lower than knee height in my opinion. And a note, if your couch is super plush, you might want to find a harder surface. First exercise is that Bulgarian split lunge. We will start on the right side. You're going down and up, staying fairly upright through the torso. We finish with little pulses at the bottom. We're then going to move into a back lunge to a low squat, step back into the back lunge, and then stand all the way to the top, also isolating the right side. From there, the pulses will be in that split lunge position. We then just repeat those 2 exercises on the left. Fifth and final exercise is a squat clean. If you don't want to do the clean, you could opt to just do a goblet squat. So you would hold the weight at your chest and then you would just go down and up, eliminating that clean. The pulse there will just be in your low squat position. 3 times through that circuit, let's go. We're going to hold the weights down at our side. Your right foot is going to be planted on the floor and your left foot is going to be on that elevated surface. We are going to square our hips, ground down through that right foot. And let's start. We bend both knees deeply and then press up. Now notice I'm not leaning forward a ton with my torso. When done correctly, this is mainly an exercise for your quads. So the top of that right thigh. Now, if it is uncomfortable having the top of your foot on the surface, you can opt to tuck the toes under so you're kind of on the ball of your foot on that back side. Hold at the bottom and it's a little pulse. 15 seconds to rest. So we're going to continue isolating this right side. I shouldn't say isolating, other muscle groups are working as well. We're going to do a back lunge, rack the weights up on your shoulders. Right foot will stay planted, left foot will step back. Left foot steps into your back lunge. Now staying low, step that left foot forward into your low squat. Left foot steps back into that same back lunge position, and then drive it up to the top. The pulse will be in the back lunge position. Find that back lunge and pulse. Don't let your left hip drop way lower than the right, so you might need to pick it up a smidge. Level off through the hips. And rest, 15 seconds. Okay, we're gonna go back into that split lunge. Other side. So left foot's gonna be on the floor, right foot will be back on that elevated surface. And let's go. Hold that low lunge, little pulses. And 15 seconds to rest. Or you're going to rack the weights on your shoulders. Left foot stays stationary, right foot will step back. Back lunge, low squat, back lunge, stand. Hold your back lunge and pulse. And rest. Okay, we're going to drop down to just one weight for those squat cleans. So you'll stand it up tall, and we'll grab the end of it. You're in a low squat position, chest stays lifted. Squat clean. Return it to the mat. Do not round through the shoulders as you bring that weight to the mat. So stay open across your chest. Hold that low squat, pulse out. You have 30 seconds to recover after this. And rest. Okay, first time through the circuit is done. We're gonna go through that twice more. Now, check in. If using the 2 weights was a little too much, you notice your form slipping, then I want you to drop down to 1. To be perfectly honest with you guys, I filmed a lot this week, so I'm gonna drop down to 1. I'm definitely a little fatigued, but if you're feeling strong, stick with both heavies. All right, we got that split lunge coming up. Right foot on the floor, left foot on the elevated surface, square those hips. Down and up, 30 seconds. Now let's do a little distance check. If you're feeling a lot of pressure in your right knee, your foot might be too close to your elevated surface. You might have to hop out a little bit. If you're feeling a ton of pressure in your back left hip flexor, you might be too far away from that elevated surface and you might need to hop back a little bit. Hold at the bottom, it's a little pulse. Really stamp that right foot into the floor. Whew, 15 seconds to rest. Okay, we're gonna come into that back lunge squat. I'm just going to flip my grip so that now the weight is wide for this one. Right foot stays planted, left foot will step back. Back lunge, low squat. Back lunge, and stand. And again, just because I drop down to 1 weight doesn't mean you necessarily should. I want you taking the hardest version you personally can while maintaining proper form. Hold the back lunge, square those hips, little pulses. Could you get a little deeper in this pulse, but without dipping that left hip down? And rest. All right, we're gonna repeat that on the left side. Left foot on the mat, right foot on that elevated surface. Let's go. Hold low and pulse. Up an inch, down an inch. And rest. Just a note on that one, if you're feeling your back quad work as well, the top of the back thigh, that's normal. You're not doing anything wrong. You're gonna feel it in the back leg because there is some weight in it. Left foot stays planted. Step your right foot back into your back lunge, forward into your low squat. Back lunge and stand. Modification for these is to use lighter weight. You can even go body weight if necessary. Hold your back lunge and pulse. Rest. Okay, squat cleans coming up. Drop down to one weight if you haven't already. You're going to stand it up on its tall end. Get low in the squat by getting low through your legs, okay? So you don't have to round through your upper body. So you're using the power of your legs on that clean. It's not a pull of the arm so much as it is an explosive press up of those legs. Hold your low squat, pulse it out. Keep your chest open. So your back muscles, especially your mid back, are working hard here to prevent you from collapsing forward through the upper body. And rest. Okay. You have 30 seconds to recover. We're going to go through that circuit one final time. If you need longer than 30 seconds, pause the video. All right, last time through, I'm sticking with my single heavy. If you're still feeling strong with both heavies, use both heavies. Right foot forward, left foot on the couch. Or whatever you're using as your elevated surface. Let's do that split lunge. All right, now let's talk about the back foot for a second. You'll notice I'm on the top of my foot, like where my shoelaces would be if I was wearing sneakers. If this bothers either your knee or your back hip flexors, try it with your toes tucked under, like I just did, and see if that works better for your body, okay? I really think it's individual on the foot placement of that back foot for this one. You can do toes under or top of the foot flat. So play around with that. I'll just stick with toes tucked under this round, just to show you a different option. All right, now hold low. It's that little pulse. Whew, rest. Man, front and back thighs burn so much on that one. It's a really good exercise for your quads. Back lunge to low squat to back lunge. Right foot stays planted. Let's go. Back lunge, low squat. Back lunge, drive through that right foot, squeeze into the right side seat to powerfully come up to stand. If it's getting to be too much moving between that low lunge to the low squat, just do a back lunge and then stand up. All right, hold that back lunge. We're going to pulse it out. Hips are square and level. Rest. Okay, same two exercises coming up on the left. Left foot on the floor, right foot on your elevated surface. Find the right distance away from that elevated surface. And again, there's not a huge lean forward in this one. You don't have to be perfectly vertical through that torso, but it's not a big hinge. That is how we target the quads, and that is why you might be feeling your back leg a lot on this one. Hold low, it's a pulse. We are almost done with this exercise for the day. Spread out through those left toes. Rest. All right, check that one off the list. Back lunge to low squat. Left foot stays planted. Let's go. Right foot steps back into your back lunge, forward into your low squat. Back lunge and stand. So just a note, because I do often get asked about why I do or don't wear shoes So I prefer to work out barefoot basically 100% of the time when I'm at home. I'm wearing socks right now just so that my sweaty ass feet aren't on my couch. But I'd be doing this barefoot. All right, hold that split lunge position and pulse. When you see me wear sneakers, just to finish this conversation up, it's honestly just to cover my feet because there's some people with like weird toe, foot interests, I guess I could say, on the internet. Rest, to put it nicely. But yes, I say barefoot as much as you can when working out. Squat cleans to finish. Let's go. Last 45 seconds in this first circuit. Power through the legs. Hips hinge back and forward as you do this. So the hips drive forward as you clean, and then they slide back. Hold your low squat. Pulse it out. If you need to drop the weight, do it. But try to stay low in that squat. Down an inch, up an inch. Could you get a little lower? Stay open through your chest. Connect to your abdominals. Don't just sink into the low back. You got this. Done. Oh. All right, we are done with the heavy weights for the day. You have a minute to recover. I'm going to show you our second circuit. We're going to drop down to our 2 medium weights for this circuit. At any point, if it is too much, you can modify by just holding 1 medium at your chest. First exercise is a sumo squat with a heel lift at the bottom. The pulse will be with the heels slightly lifted in the bottom of that squat. From there, we have a pivoting sumo squat to narrow squat pulse. So you start with feet together, you'll hinge open one direction, come through center, and then hinge open in the opposite direction. The pulse there will be in your narrow squat. We then have a deadlift. We're going to start by isolating the right leg. The pulse in that one will be in the hinged position, and your back leg will just tap and lift. You then just repeat that exercise, but on the left. We finish up with a squat tap. So you're in a low squat and then you come up just about 3/4 of the way and one foot comes in gently towards the other one. Don't kick yourself hard on that. So you're basically just transferring weight from one side to the other. We will finish in just a low squat with a pulse. Okay, 3 times through, grab your medium weights. Let's do this. So I'm using my 10-pound weights. We're gonna find our sumo squat position. So your feet are wide. Oop, Pickles is like, I'm done. Toes out turned. At the bottom of the squat, you'll lift those heels. So take it down to the bottom, heels lift and lower, and then drive it to the top. Now the heels don't have to lift super high because I don't want you rolling in or out on the ankles. So think about spreading out through the toes. The hold will be at the bottom with the heels lifted if possible, but if you want to modify, just have the heels down. All right, hold that low sumo squat, lift those heels an inch, pulse it up an inch, down, up and down. And rest, 15 seconds. So we're gonna come into a pivoting squat, kind of building off of that previous one. You'll start narrow and then you'll hinge open into a sumo squat. So feet don't have to be touching, but hips distance apart or slightly closer together. You pulse it narrow, stay low, pivot open, pulsing your sumo squat that way. Come to narrow, other way. So you're staying pretty low throughout this. Thinking of stabilizing through the legs so that as you pivot open and close, your knees aren't wobbling in and out. They stay pointing in the same direction as your toes. We'll hold in the narrow squat to pulse coming up. All right, hold narrow, you're low, little pulse down and up. Rest. Okay, deadlifts coming up next. Let's start with our right foot planted, left leg extends long. When you do this, keep the weights kind of close to your body. If they're too far out, it's going to throw off balance and you're going to hunch. So long through the spine, unlock through the right knee as you do this, and try to keep your hips pretty level to the floor. Stay energized through that back leg. Yes, the focus is on the right, but you think reach, reach, reach long through the left. Coming up, we will hold in the hinge position, and that left leg will just pulse down and up. All right, hold. Left toes tap and lift. Now the lift is coming from your seat, not your low back. So I need you to hold neutral through the spine. Low back doesn't sink towards the mat as that leg kicks up. And rest. Whew. And we're gonna do that same thing, just on the left. Very normal to notice differences between the sides. If balance is a big issue, I would do this one body weight. So left foot planted, right leg long. Start with just that deadlift hinge. Make sure you're not opening up through the hips. So think of kind of pulling that right hip down in line with the left hip as you hinge forward. Now we're coming into that hold. You're going to make sure you are not locked out through that left knee. All right, hold it low. That back right leg taps and lifts. Reach it long so you're not just flailing and kicking it up towards the ceiling. You're thinking length over height. Stay broad across those collarbones. Rest. Okay. Last move is going to be that squat with that little tap side to side. So it's not fast, but there's a little bit of speed to this one. Tap in, tap in. You're not coming up all the way. It's about 3/4 of the way as one foot moves in towards the other. Just a little tap, don't kick yourself hard. Transferring weight side to side. To finish this one, just hold a low squat, pulse it out. Hold that low squat, pulse. Up an inch, down an inch. Rest. All right, you have 30 seconds to recover. We're gonna go through that twice more. We'll start with the sumo squat. Rack those weights on your shoulders. Toes angled outward, wide stance. And let's go. Down, little heel lift at the bottom, and up. So don't feel like your toes have to be pointing straight to the sides. Find an angle that works for your hips, okay? If you try to go out wider with the feet than your hip mobility can allow for, you're gonna mess up the alignment with your knees, and it's just gonna put a lot of strain on the joint, which we don't want. All right, hold at the bottom, heels lifted if possible, and it's a little pulse. Press down through the toes. They're going to help prevent you from rolling the ankles outwards, and rest. So we have that pivot coming up, narrow to sumo, side to side. Weights on shoulders, low, narrow squat. So we pulse it narrow, and then as you open up, I want you to focus on your stationary side. Really press down through the foot to stabilize. So now it's this side, so that your knee does not wobble inward as you hinge open. Narrow, pulse, pivot open, pulse, step it back. Hold narrow, pulse it out. Rest. All right, deadlift's coming up. We'll start on the right leg. So right foot is down, spread out through those toes. Weights stay pretty close to your leg. Let's go. So yes, this is a lower body focus class, but you may be noticing, wow, my back is doing a lot of work here. Hopefully your mid back is where you're feeling it. And that is true. All right, hold, and it's that little tap of the back leg. And that is very true, okay? When we're adding in weights, your back muscles have to work extra hard to maintain that proper posture so that you don't roll forward. So it is normal and good to be feeling this in your mid back area. Rest. If it gets to be too much though, and it's like hindering the work with your legs, just go lighter with the weights. Or if you need to do a round of the circuit body weight, go for it. Switch over to the left foot down, right leg hovers. So you'll notice as I come upright, I'm keeping my back leg hovering just slightly off of the mat. But if you need some stability, come and stand on both feet at the top for a second before releasing that right foot from the mat. Woo, lost balance there. All right, hold in the hinge. That back leg reaches long, little lift and lower. Engage through your abdominal wall. Broad across those collarbones. Rest. All right, we have those squat taps. Weights come to your shoulders. If you're still going to use both, you can always drop down to one. Down, up just 3/4 of the way. Shifting weight from one leg to the other. Hold low, little pulses, 15 seconds. Rest. All right, 30 seconds to recover. One final time through the circuit, and then you're done with the weights. Last time through, let's do it. We'll start with that sumo squat. Heel raise comes at the bottom. Take it to the bottom, little heel raise. Drop the heels, drive it up. Hold low, inch heel lift, little pulses. Rest. Okay, we have that narrow squat pulse, pivoting open. Find that low squat, we stay here. Pulse it, center. Pivot open, grounding down through the stationary side. Close it. All right, hold narrow, pulse it out. Now you're narrow, but you're not knocked knees. So think about keeping the knees tracking in line with your middle toes. and rest. Deadlift coming up, right foot stays planted, left leg will hover. Maintain that length through your spine. Don't rush it. We're really focused on balance and stability here. Hold in the hinge, back leg is long. So squeeze through the quad gently on your back leg to really achieve that length. And it's that little lift and lower without sinking into your low back. Make sure unlock through the right leg, rest. All right, same thing other side. Left foot stays down, right leg long. Let's go. Woo! All right, hold in the hinge, back leg lifts and lowers. Stay long through the waist, don't crunch up on one side. Rest. All right, one more exercise to go, you got this. It's that squat with a little tap, shifting weight into one leg and then the next. Let's go. Can you keep a steady pace the whole time? You're in your last 30 seconds of this circuit. You can do it. Hold the squat, pulse it out to finish. Final 15 seconds. You got this. Woo. Rest. Oh, man. Okay, you have a minute to recover. I'm going to show you our Tabata. Put your weights away. We're done with them. So no equipment needed for our Tabata. 2 exercises and we'll alternate between them. First one is going to be a side lunge into a knee drive with a little hop. We're moving side to side to play around with this transfer of weight and kind of challenge our balance and coordination in that one. You'll alternate right and left each time we do it. The second exercise is going to be a squat jump to a 180 squat jump and then another squat jump. So you're just flipping side to side. Now, if you want to take out the jumping, you want to keep this workout low impact, then there is going to be a video in the split screen as I go that is showing a low impact modification. Basically for those squats, you would just give me a powerful pulse and then stand, no jumping. And then from the lunge, you would take out the hop. So it would just be side, knee drive to the side, knee drive. And again, I will play those as we go through this. Okay, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds of rest, 8 intervals total. Let's do it. We'll start with that side lunge. You'll mirror me. So we'll step out to the right and then we'll hop up on the left. Same side whole time. Lunge across, little hop. Rest. All right, now we have squat jump, 180, squat jump. I'm gonna face the side for this one, otherwise I'll be sticking my butt in your face the whole time, or half the time. Squat jump, and then at the bottom, flip around. Get big, stay low, switch. Rest. Okay, first set done. We'll go into that side lunge, other side. Lunge to the left, hop on the right. Rest. Squat jump 180. Let's go. Rest. Halfway there. Side lunge. Lunge to the right. Let's go. When you do the side lunge, don't think about getting as wide out as you can. Just think of hinging the hips back. That's what's most important. Rest. 3 more pushes to go. And then we cool down. You can do that. Rest. Final set. Mirror me, lunge to the left. Hop on the right. Rest. One more interval. Let's do this. Final 20 seconds and we cool down. Squat jump 180. 20 seconds to finish it. And done. Oh, awesome work. Take a second to catch your breath. I'm going to bring you through a quick guided cool down now. Let's start with a standing quad stretch. So shifting your weight over to the left, grab your right foot in your hand, tug the heel in towards your bum gently. And if you don't feel this across the top of the thigh, you might be in an arched position with your low back. So think of just bringing that tailbone down towards the floor, finding a neutral pelvis. When you're ready, let's take it over to the other side. Shift your weight into that right leg, grab the left foot, neutral pelvis. If balance is an issue, it helps to just look at one spot on the floor, kind of far in front of you, or you can always place your hand on a wall or a piece of furniture. From here, I want you to separate the feet nice and wide, and we're going to find a forward fold. And just start by swaying side to side. Like I was talking about earlier in the class, I know that with this weighted lower body work, this is also a workout for your back. It is working so hard to maintain proper posture. So let's just fold forward and kind of release any tension we might be holding there. Flowing side to side, bending into one knee at a time. And then when you're ready, let's settle in the middle. And let's walk our hands over towards the right. And both hands can grab the outside of that leg. Stay here. If this is too intense, give me a little bend to the knees. ready, let's walk it over to the left, other side. Now from here, we're gonna pivot over to the left. Hands will come to the mat, and we're gonna meet in a kneeling lunge position. So pivot the toes over to the left, drop that back right knee down, and come upright for a hip flexor stretch. So you might need to scoot that back knee back a little bit or hop your front foot forward. Square the hips, gentle engagement through the glutes, and then just press the pelvis forward so you feel a nice opening through that back right hip flexor. And from here, I want you to take the right arm up and then sweep it over to the left. Find a side bend. Few breaths here. Coming up through center, shift the hips back, straightening out through that front leg, flex the foot, and you're gonna fold forward in a half split position for a stretch through the back of that front left leg. Let's bend into that front knee, and we're just gonna switch sides. So right foot comes forward, left knee is down, square the hips, gentle squeeze of the glutes, and then press the pelvis forward, opening up through the back left hip flexor. Left arm reaches up, and then you're gonna side bend over to the right. Deep breaths. With every inhale, think of expanding into the side body. And coming upright, let's shift those hips back, straightening out through our front right leg. Square the hips, fold forward, leading with your chest, half split. When you're ready, we're going to come into a comfortable seated position. We're going to take one more stretch for the glutes, coming into a little spinal twist. Right leg crosses in, and then take your left foot and plant it on the mat outside of your right thigh. Start by just hugging the leg in towards your chest. Sit up nice and tall. Maybe you stay here. You want to feel this in the outer hip side of your butt. Maybe you take it into a twist. If you're going to twist, hug the knee with your right arm, and then twist to the left, looking over your left shoulder. For so much of this workout, really all of it, we were working to maintain a neutral spine. So it feels so good in the cool down to twist it out a little bit, add in those side bends. Coming back through center when you're ready, let's just switch sides. Right foot stamps on the mat outside of the left thigh. Start by just hugging the leg in towards your chest, sit up nice and tall. If you want to take that twist, you twist over to the right, looking over that right shoulder. Coming back through center when you're ready, find a comfortable seated position, and let's just finish with one deep breath together. On an inhale, I want you to reach your arms up overhead, and on an exhale, just let it go. Awesome work today. That is your class.